Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good evening. Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for coming to our evening meeting. It's the April 24th, 2013 Lorain County Board of Commissioners meeting. Commissioner Kokoski is not with us. Her sister passed away, so she'll be out through the week. Madam Clerk?
We have two appointments scheduled tonight, the Youth Rally and then Deborah Nebel for Lorain County Transportation Cooperative. Under Resolutions Number 1, Job and Family Services Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Oh. Go ahead.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
No advances, no repayments, requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Travel.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cortez, welcome back.
Well, I'm glad, kind of glad to be back.
It was quiet here without you.
Usually is. I only want to have a quick executive session to discuss ongoing collective bargaining negotiations with respect to children's services. I have a couple questions that we need to provide guidance on. Shouldn't take too long, and since Ms. Kokoski isn't with us, we'll not have any personnel issues until next week.
Okay.
Approve and waive the reading of the same in the County Commissioners meeting minutes of April 17th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under Community Development, amend Resolution 13-189 adopted March 27th, awarding contract to provide professional services for pre-application work and preparation for FY13 CHIP grant application. The amendment is to reflect the correct account should be contract services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under Job and Family, re-advertise for sealed bids for non-emergency medical transportation. Notice to be in the Chronicle on April 29th and May 6th, and open at 2:30 p.m. on May 20th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Approve and enter the sub-grant agreement with Ohio Department of Job and Family Services for state fiscal year 2014-2015.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the prosecutor, approve and enter an agreement with Carlisle Township to hire Lorain County Prosecutor's Office as law director pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code 504.15, effective retroactive to January 1st, 2013 through December 31st, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Cortez.
I have no additional comments this morning. I see we have quite a crowd, so we'll move along quickly.
Mr. Innes.
Commissioners, I would like to have a short executive session regarding a matter of pending litigation.
Commissioners report.
Busy week. Thursday, we had our annual CIC meeting going over the annual report and approving. On Friday, I spent the day in Columbus at the Commissioners Association meetings where I serve on the board for those of you who are new to our audience. All the discussion was about the budget that the House sent down, and now it's over at the Senate, so we're hoping we can work with them to get some needed changes addressed. Attended the Valor Home Spaghetti Dinner, the fundraiser to benefit the Valor Home, which has found a facility, and to aid in their remodeling. They'll be located in Lorain, across the street from the St. Joe's Hospital. close to the VA clinic. Attended the Lorain County Chamber of Commerce and Building Industries Association elected officials reception. Again, a lot of dialogue, people asking what the county's doing in regards to budget issues and discussions about the Transit Levy and the Drug Task Force Levy. Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Williams and I yesterday in the Investment Advisory Committee met for our quarterly meeting in regards to the county budget, and there were no significant changes. We're still not making the money we need to make. And then today, Commissioner Williams and I also were on the Commissioners Association, the Metropolitan group. The 10 largest counties have a monthly conference call. Discussion was, again, on the state budget and discussion about possibly asking the state legislature to put the legalization of marijuana, whether medical or all out, and industrial hemp on the ballot. So a lot of good dialogue there also. End of my report.
Busy week as well. Spent Friday with Senator Manning and many of the veterans over at the VFW Post 1079, talking about possible legislation change that would allow the county commissioners to, through approval of the Veterans Commission, for funding of the color guard uniforms. So when you do a final send-off for a veteran, to help with the different agencies to get funding for some of these uniforms. Depending on where you go for uniforms, you're looking at anywhere from $600 to $1,000 per uniform. And then to do a color guard, you need to have about 25 to 30 members in order to go through and cover all the funerals in Lorain County. Very productive meeting. I want to thank Senator Manning for coming in, spending the time with us, and listening to it. Hopefully something to come out later this year on that. And spent the day at the Valor Home Spaghetti Dinner fundraiser. Won a lot of neat items. One of my favorites is a World War II gravity knife that I'll be using for a letter opener, but got to spend some time with the veterans, hear about the different stories in Vietnam, and just a good time to sit down and talk with the individuals. And earlier today I met with a gun distributor located locally, talking about the proposals I sent out to gun manufacturers that possibly relocate to Lorain County. These are manufacturers that are looking at moving after state legislators in their states came up with strict gun laws that would impact their product, and they're looking at moving. You like the weapons or not, it's manufacturing. They do a lot of manufacturing for military and also police personnel. So we're encouraging them to come here to Lorain County and utilize our workforce and the skilled labor that we have here. So, end of my report.
Next week, the Commissioners will meet at 9:30, and there is one correction under Board Correspondence before you approve the waiting. Number 12 should be 8 a.m. instead of 8 p.m.
Okay.
The Board Correspondence.
Move the reading be waived.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Darrel Shumpert, Team Leadership Coordinator, Communities That Care of Lorain County, and Monica Banks, Elyria High School student.
Come on up, Darrell.
Good evening. My name is Darrel Shumpert. I am the Youth Teen Leadership Institute of Lorain County leader, coordinator, all of the above. We are here tonight to talk about the We Are the Majority rally, which will take place on May 2nd here at Elyria High School. It is a collaboration that has been done in previous times down in Columbus, Ohio, by the Ohio Youth-Led Prevention Network. Tonight, Monica Banks, which is a senior at Elyria High School, could not be here with me tonight. She actually will be our moderator for the actual rally, but we have Cheyenne Rettenauer, who is with us, and she's passing out some of the flyers. But our main reason is we want to kind of bring an awareness to this event. It is a teen-led prevention rally, which is sending out the message that so many times we have heard that all teens are doing drugs and doing illegal substance and prescription drug abuse, but we're spreading the message that we are the majority who are not doing drugs, and we have a nice group of teenagers coming from 11 different high schools across the county. Those high schools include Avon High School, Brookside High School, Elyria, Early College, Clearview, JVS, Midview, Lorain, North Ridgeville, Vermilion, and Wellington High School. All of the 16 high schools had the opportunity to participate in this rally, but unfortunately for scheduling conflicts and other things that are going on, they could not participate. This will be the first youth-led prevention rally that will take place in the county, and we are extremely excited about it. It is going to take place, like I said, at Elyria High School from 9 a.m. until midday, noon, on that same day, which is a Thursday. We are very excited about it. We are going to have the team, the individuals from the schools, they're going to be the speakers. All of the adults, we're not going to have any part of the actual rally. They're planning it themselves. We're just helping them coordinate it. It's going to be on the scale almost as a over-dramatic pep rally, if you will. We're going to have the marching bands, some of the color guards, JROTC from Elyria High School is going to be present. Their dance group and other things. After it's over at about 11 o'clock, we're going to leave the high school and march down Middle Avenue and go up the old courthouse steps and conclude the rally there. Our Mayor Brenda has graciously given us time out of her schedule to be there and to speak to our teens on the particular subject of being drug-free, as well as other dignitaries in the city and in the county are going to be there to support our teenagers. We're looking at the numbers right now, anywhere between 600 and 700 teens coming from those schools to be a part of the rally. We are looking at concluding the rally across from Ely Square. We already have things in place to block off the streets, and what we're asking for is for as many people as we can to spread the word so we can get adults and those around town, those that are at the Justice Center, to come during their breaks and just support our teenagers and show them that we actually do care and that their voice does matter. We send such a message sometimes that they have been telling us that they feel like their voice doesn't matter, but we want to help them to see that they can make a difference if we just support them as well as they'll support us.
Wonderful.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like a great program. 600, 700 people downtown Elyria
Yes.
with kids is going to be wonderful. thing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And
Indeed.
you're right. Most of the bad stuff is what makes the newspapers. It's not what the good kids are doing and
Indeed.
out there working. So it's going to be a great event. Hey, Kathy
Indeed.
Rednar was filling me in on it last night.
Yes.
Now, will you be taking a look at maybe next year bringing in the junior high students as well? My daughter goes in, she's part of the student council there, so
Okay.
they're always working on things to promote what's positive with the youth.
Right.
Because like you said, that's not what gets in the newspaper.
Right.
Kids are doing great things out there, and we need to really promote them.
Indeed.
And congratulate them for when they make the right choices, so.
Indeed. I just came from a training with about 8 teenagers down in Akron on Saturday, and that was one of the questions that came up. Were we going to initiate it to our junior high? And, we're still going to see how this goes on Thursday, May 2nd, and see what bugs we need to work out, but we're definitely trying to shoot for the junior high next year and make it junior high and high school and bring them all together so that the kids will see that they have a goal.
And this is the first county one in the
This
state
will
of
be the
Ohio.
first,
This is the
yes.
first.
Well, down in Columbus, they have been doing it for several years now.
Okay.
Our goal was to actually simulcast it, but as you know, that takes money. And unfortunately, we didn't have the funds to do that. So what we're going to do is kind of utilize social media and use YouTube as our means. We won't be able to talk back and forth to one another, but we're just going to pan the group and then email it up or send it through YouTube, and then we'll pull up the address here in Elyria High School and then show our kids, and we're going to kind of do that back and forth for the 2 hours we're inside the gym.
Wow,
So
beautiful.
it's we're looking for it, and hopefully everything works out according to plan, and we'll go from there.
And
So-
this is next week.
Next week.
Say it again. It's going to be on TV Saturday and Sunday. So say it again,
Yes,
Darrell.
Thursday, May 2nd, from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. From 11 o'clock to 12 noon, the rally will take place outside of Elyria High School, marching down from Middle Avenue onto the old county courthouse steps across from Ely Square. So we're just looking for as many community members can come out and support the rally on that day and support our kids.
Who would they contact if they wanted to for next year, for the second one, to donate, who should they contact?
They can contact Elaine Gorgas at the Asst board, or they can contact me, Darrel Shumpert, at 440-396-7280, or by email at truelight, TRUELIGHTPROD @yahoo.com.
And we'll try to get that information up on the screen for you. So great job. If there's
Thank you.
anything I can ever do, let me know. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Can you
again.
make it a
Good
little,
program.
can you make it a little warmer next week?
Yes, I hope so. I hope so. We want it to be a little warm. So, and also all of our kids will have shirts on that are part of the rally. They'll have "We Are the Majority" shirts, which kind of has the logo on your paper, that kind of splash from logo, and they'll all have T-shirts. So it's going to be great.
Who did you work with at the schools?
At the schools, we kind of did a collaboration between Teen Institute, the Asst board, Kathy Rettenauer at the prosecutor's office, Tim Williams, the school board president,
Okay.
Kathy Gabe, also who is the Communities That Care Foundation's president, also Joel Reichland from Licata.
You brought a lot of
And-
big hitters to the table.
Yes, we all just kind of got together and worked together to make this happen. And then we made contacts with all the school counselors. Well, we talked to the principals first, and then the principals then gave us the go-to people in the school to contact. And then it was my job to kind of go in and fill out the details.
Well, and that's what I was looking for, is the school principal. So if the
Yes.
schools aren't participating this year,
Yes,
and
it was
parents
typically.
want their kids to be involved in it,
Mhm.
then they should contact their principal and encourage them to participate next year.
Exactly.
So, go ahead.
How long have you been planning this, Darrell, to put together this type of?
It took us maybe about, what would you say, since January, yeah,
Okay.
so a few
4
months. It took some time because, we had to work out all the details, and, some things that we wanted to work didn't work, so we had to kind of put our heads together and kind of figure out what's a good way to get this off the ground. By this being our first one, we really didn't have anybody to fall back on because we couldn't all drive down to Columbus and get details, so it was a lot of conference calls back and forth, but I think we've done a good job putting our heads together to try to make this happen.
You got some good people working on it. Be great
Indeed.
to see it next week. We'll be there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Okay.
Madam Clerk?
Deborah Nebel?
Well, good evening, Commissioner Kalo, Commissioner Williams, and the rest of the assembled group of the public. We have given some information to the clerk, and I hope you have it. It's the agenda of the speakers we've put together.
Deborah, could you introduce yourself and
I
the group
will.
you're with?
I will. But first, I wanted to give convey our condolences to Commissioner Kokowski on the loss of her sister. Thank you for letting us speak today. My name is Deborah Nebel. I'm here today as the program coordinator for the Lorain County Transportation Cooperative, and we have some of our members here, as well as some people who are going to be addressing you. We're here today really to thank you for the ability to speak about this very important issue, and also thank you for putting the levy on the ballot, so that people will have the ability to hopefully vote in favor of issue 2 for the transit levy. Our coalition, or our cooperative, is a group of approximately 20 community organizations or more, and our goal basically is on the sheet in front of you, but it is to provide an organized local voice for individuals and organizations who are willing to work together to ensure that the Lorain County transit system is affordable, accessible, and adequately funded by federal, state, and local dollars, and that it is designed to meet the needs of our community. So tonight, what we've done is we've selected 4 members of our coalition to come forward and to speak about different issues of why public transportation is important for Lorain County and why we really do need a designated funding source for transit in this county. So I'd like to introduce to you Sharon Pearson, who is going to be our first speaker, and she's going to talk from a perspective of the whole county and give a short overview.
Good evening.
Hello.
I've presented the statement to you, so you may have it in front of you. But I want to thank you for allowing me to take the time to speak to you today about the public transportation levy. My name is Sharon Pearson. I'm the program coordinator for the Oberlin Project, and I also serve as the Oberlin Project Transportation Working Group Liaison and on the Lorain County Transportation Cooperative. Many residents in Oberlin are very happy to see that there is a tax levy dedicated to funding public transit on the ballot on May 7th. And this has been a very popular topic when the Oberlin Project staff has gone out and had community conversations within the Oberlin area. And most likely, this is because many are facing rising gas prices and the fact that the average household spends about 19% of their income on transportation expenses. This is very costly for the average family, and even more costly for elderly residents, disabled residents, and low-income families. It's my understanding that prior to 2009, there was operation funding for transit that was in the sum of more than $500,000. And it's also my understanding that this tax levy will generate about $250,000, which will also be used to leverage both state and federal funding. However, it may not be funding that can generate as much as it did prior to 2009, and therefore routes that are established may have to be adjusted to the funding that can be supported by it. But one of the things we want to stress is that it's important that the southern part of Lorain County is considered for some of these routes. There are many rural areas and people that are isolated because they don't have any transportation options. And some people even feel that the southern part of Lorain County sometimes receives some of the first cuts regarding transportation routes because the population is smaller. And we hope that the population size in the southern part of Lorain County is not the sole reason for not considering routes in that area. In fact, people who live in these rural areas like southern Lorain County their transportation expenses can rise from 19% to 25%, and this is some information that I've gathered from U.S. Federal Highway Administration. In addition to providing more transportation options and cost savings for residents, public transportation also has the ability, to support economic development as well. For instance, my fiance and I, we both have cars, but when we travel to Cleveland, we try to use the public transportation system. We use it to go to Westside Market, downtown Cleveland, University. In fact, a couple of weeks ago when we went to Cleveland, we used all public transportation. It saved us $50 in parking fees, and it also reduced our stress, which allowed us to have a better time in Cleveland. So when this levy does pass, we really hope that you give equal consideration to the southern part of Lorain County. Because public transportation is a tool that can be used to boost economic development, assist with reducing carbon emissions, and also reduces transportation costs for all residents.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Marcus is going to talk about the effect, basically, of the lack of public transportation on young professionals, people going to school, and also people seeking employment.
Marcus Atkinson, Lorain. Sharon just spoke for a minute, and she mentioned the disabled and the elderly, and they do benefit greatly from public transportation, but I think it's also, important to recognize the younger people in the community as well. There are many, many young people who are just getting out of high school or maybe even just getting out of college who really would benefit greatly from a more reliable, a more consistent public transportation system. Currently, if you want to go to Lorain Community College, the routes are only there every 2 hours, which is really unrealistic for somebody who wants to attend classes there. Somebody who is looking to do something with their lives. In this area, Lorain, Elyria, really the whole county, we know that the county is really struggling. And there are many people who can't afford a car, but they really are trying very hard to gain employment. So it's unrealistic for them to sit into a interview process for a job, and one of the basic questions are going to be, do you have reliable transportation. And here's a person who is fully able to do that job, probably better than the person next to him, who is fully motivated and is a reliable, loyal, could be a reliable, loyal employee, but will have to answer that question no. Or they'll say yes and end up missing days of work and be laid off. This is a situation that, can easily be fixed if we just have a little more consistent, reliable transportation to places like Lorain Community College, JVS, and high concentrations of employment around the county. I could bring out lots of statistics as everybody else can. I myself am a product of a reliable transportation system. I was lucky enough to attend Ohio State at Columbus, where they, as you know, have a great public transportation system. And that was the only time in my life where I felt fully independent, where I was able to attend my classes on time, get my degree. I was able to go to the grocery store. I was able to attend my doctor's appointments, which prevented me from ending up in the ER and becoming having taxpayers essentially pay my medical bills. And this could easily translate to Lorain County, boosting Lorain County's economic viability. I'm here today and I'm contributing to the county because I have my degree. And I'm just saying that if we were able to get more public transportation, there'd be a lot more younger people out of high school, out of college, staying here, growing, creating businesses, and essentially growing the economy.
Thanks, Marcus. You do a good job, man.
All right, thank you. Okay, good evening. My name is Melissa Hernandez. I am a resident of Elyria Township, and I work at Linking Employment, Abilities, and Potential, and I am an independent living specialist. And I wanted to talk about the effect on consumers that I work with and the public that I hear from. People with disabilities, seniors, and residents of Lorain County, they would welcome the opportunity to participate and contribute to their community, but although they're not able to accomplish this because they need accessible, affordable transportation. In this day and age, the financial problems that we are having right now in our community is affecting everyone. A lot of people are on fixed and low income budgets, and people who can afford vehicles cannot afford the upkeep of them or even afford gas. So to me it seems that the most logical mode of transportation is public transportation. Right now, as transportation is, the public transportation, it's very difficult because the routes have been cut, and it's hard to get from a destination of choice. It's virtually impossible. And the distance between the bus stops is such that it is so great that people with disabilities and seniors are not capable of making the distance, nor are they able to accomplish it safely. And finally, the cost, it's such that people need to decide how to spend their money. Should they buy food products like bread, or should they take a bus? People in Lorain County really could benefit from accessible, affordable transportation because they need to get to work, to school, to their doctor's appointments, to pick up necessary prescriptions, to go to the store to get groceries, and to enjoy community activities. Without being able to, without the transportation to do these things, they might become isolated, not only physically but socially. And at LEAP, I can attest to the fact that I work with people with disabilities, but I also do what's called information and referral. So I speak to the public as well, and they express to me also how difficult it is to access transportation. The lack of transportation is an issue that affects everyone in the community. It is not just a barrier for persons with disabilities, it's a barrier for people in the community as well. I think building a public transportation system that is accessible and affordable could only benefit and strengthen our economy by allowing more people to be able to go to work, to be able to access stores, and also it could strengthen the community in the fact that people would be able to come to community activities and be a part of events in their community. Transportation really gives people more choices, better opportunities, and promotes independence. Thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Thanks, Melissa. Nice job.
Well, good evening. I'm batting cleanup today. So, I'm Bill Harper, Executive Director of United Way of Greater Lorain County and a Penfield Township resident. And I really appreciate the opportunity to share our perspective on the importance of public transportation as a critical part of our community, a critical part of any thriving community. I wanted to share with you a survey that we conducted at United Way last February, actually February of 2012. This was actually a survey of corporate leaders in Greater Lorain County that support United Way. A typical response from these corporate leaders of the type of community that they wanted to invest in and be a part of was a community that had vibrant arts programs, abundant outdoor recreation activities, an educated and in-demand workforce that attracts advanced businesses, fully utilized and smartly planned spaces, commercial, industrial, residential, and recreational areas connected by an environmentally friendly and encouragingly easy-to-use transportation system, and top-notch schools that challenge our children and adult learners to grow exponentially in their studies. Throughout the survey that we conducted, and it ended up being 57 pages long of their comments, we actually had public transportation mentioned 40 times. So it clearly was topmost on their minds of importance. Recent community surveys throughout the country in communities that are considering investments in public transportation have consistently found that 3/4 of the public agreed that in some way they will benefit from having expanded and improved public transit systems in their communities, even if they never use them for their own travel and commuting needs. 75%. It's clear that most people view public transit as an asset that is beneficial for the common good of the community. Without a doubt, the dismantling of the Lorain County transit system over recent years has had a negative impact on the quality of life in Lorain County. We applaud as a group the modest proposal that the County Commission has placed on the May ballot, and we offer our support in collaboration for this and future efforts to fulfill a vision of multimodal transportation, the system that we all deserve. We hope that in future efforts, and regardless of the outcome of the May election, that you would reach out to us to engage so that we can support these efforts in the future. It's critical for the health and well-being of our residents. It's critical for the infrastructure that we need to support all of our residents. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Good job. You're right on all those points. Let's hopefully this modest ask, a couple bucks a year, it's like throwing a couple dollars in the Salvation Army kettle, as our administrator has said.
Yeah.
it'll see some lights, so.
You got at least 2 votes for Pennsville Township.
Wonderful, thank you.
Before we go to close, I just want to run through some numbers too on here. When you take a look at the county transit, and you know, I guess I'm considered the no tax guy, but in this case I am supporting this levy. And the reason for it is when you take a look at Cuyahoga County with RTA, they got a budget of over $200 million for their system. 2008, Lorain County, with federal government, everything was at $4.1 million. Last year, we were at $1.5 million. Local coming in at $265,000. That's $50,000 coming from the county's general fund. And then asking for this $246,000 levy in order to give additional routes throughout the community. Being a commissioner, I traveled the entire county, and I talked to individuals at JVS. I talked to the superintendents out there. Big issue, getting transportation to get the kids or adults to the evening classes so they can go through and finish that welding program so they can get a job that's going to pay them, you know, $20 an hour and secure their financial security. Going to the college, walking out there, seeing individuals. You walk in, you see them waiting for the bus, you come back out 2 hours later, they're still sitting there waiting for the bus. And then other issues, seniors not being able to get to grocery stores, getting to the hospitals, and as Mark has brought up. So for me, I'm hoping that this will go through so we can go through, relook at the routes, put in an area where we're going to be able to benefit some of the residents. It's a very modest levy of $246,000. That's about $2 per $100,000 home. Mr. Cortez brought this up before. It's more money than what most of us probably throw into or less money than what we throw into a little kettle at Christmas time. So if you don't use the transportation system, at least look at it as you're helping your neighbors. I understand individuals in Rochester, you're not going to use the transit system to get up to the college. That's not going to allow us to go down that far. But what you are going to do is you're going to allow residents in the cities in the northern part get to doctor's appointments, get to a grocery store, or get to classes. It comes down to compassion. And for this one, the reason I'm supporting it is because I see the need in Lorain County. I see the people that want to make a difference. I've talked to Marcus. I know what his qualifications are, and he just needs that additional support to get out and get to the locations. And he can be a key player in this community. So I just urge the voters, if you haven't voted already, early voting, when you go out to vote, consider it. You're giving it. You're not giving a handout. You're giving it, and you're lifting somebody up here. And it's the right thing to do for the community. It comes down to what do you want from Lorain County, and I think this is going to make an improvement. So,
yeah, Tom, I went back even farther in numbers. I had Lisa pull them up out of our old Oracle system. Back in 2004, we were able to generate $1 million out of our general fund for the county transit. In 2005, we did $1.2 million. In 2006, we did $1 million, and things started getting shaky. We had $500,000 in 2007, 2008, and 2009, and then the economy collapsed totally. We went through all of our layoffs. It was $100,000 in 2010, 2011, and then $50,000 the last 2 years, in which most people don't quite understand. You do as part of being the transit collective. That's all match money for federal dollars. I mean, every dollar we put into it locally, we get another dollar back from the federal government to sustain that system. And it is, I mean, this is just a hand up to people who need it. I mean, it's been Lorain County is a very philanthropic community. We help our people. We pass developmental disabilities. We pass mental health levies. We take care of each other. This is a couple bucks to give us an opportunity to restore our system to some degree. And hopefully, if it's successful and we can show the public what we can do with that money and do it wisely and give the service that's needed out there, they'll support us in future endeavors where we can garner even more dollars to expand it. We've met with RTA. I've served on NOAC in 9 years now. We've met with RTA. They have a 1% sales tax that takes care of their transit. 1%. Lorain County lives county government on a 0.5%. They have a 1% dedicated just to their transit system. And it's a wonderful transit system.
$32 million here.
Huh?
$32 million if we had 1%.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, if we drew in 1%, we'd have $32 million. We'd have all of our problems fixed. But yeah, passing of this levy, again, it's not a lot of money, but it will make a significant difference in a lot of our residents' lives around the county. Again, the seniors, the disabled, the youth. So I'll let you do your closing remarks, Deborah.
Well, I think you've helped to make our closing remarks because you have really brought up the important arguments for how this money will enable Lorain County to leverage other dollars on the state and federal level. And I think that that is a real selling point, to have a designated fund that you can then utilize to enrich this community and to invest in public transportation.
Let me add one thing while
Yeah.
you're talking about that for the money. We do sell advertising on our buses, and that's all local dollars, so we get double the amount
Do
of
you?
money. So all the businesses out there, all the groups, please contact us. We have one employee in Lorain County Transit, but please contact us. And we'd love to take your advertising dollars. That's very important, because that's all local money.
Right.
So if you buy a $100 ad, we're getting $200 for it. Go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're talking about money, though.
That's fine. Yes, in closing, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to speak and thank my colleagues and for those also from the coalition who are here tonight to support us and to show you their support for the levy. We think the levy is a very important first step, and we really encourage you to the degree you're able with this short time frame before the election to share with the community how this funding will be used to improve transit. And as was said by Mr. Harper, we really do stand ready to give you feedback on unmet transit needs in the community and to be of help and assistance as we do this build public will for transit. So on behalf of the coalition, I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
I'll be on the radio, WOBL net tomorrow, talking about this levy along with the drug task force levy. And I think that's another important one. While I have you here, I'm going to promote that as well because it's very important. And that's about $4 per $100,000 household per year. And with all the drug issues that are going on, and this is an issue that doesn't just hit the cities, but it's hitting the entire Lorain County. And if you look at it, it's actually hitting all over the state of Ohio. The drug task force, we have 6 employees that basically go through, do raids, and look into interrupting the supply chain. And by going through and getting this $492,000, we're going to be able to add that on to the $350,000 that they currently get to go through and tackle this problem. Heroin's a huge issue in Lorain County, through the state of Ohio, and probably throughout the country. And when you're out there voting, please also remember issue 3. It's $4 and a month per $100,000, or I'm sorry, $4 per year per $100,000 home. And these 2 levies is definitely something that needs to be passed. So thank you.
Say that again, $4 per year
$4 per year.
on 100,000.
Yeah. So.
Anyone else wishing to address the board this evening? Thank you very much. Motion to go in executive session is outlined by our county administrator and county prosecutor.
Second.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Thank you, everyone.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.